right now just because I was kicked out of Ostennis.
Very well. Well, I am. It's hard to be optimistic in this moment, but I'm very motivated to help the queen get back into her rightful position. She has done that city more good than most previous rulers. The ruler before her, King Coster Geralt, was very. He started leaning in the right direction, reaching out to ally nations more often and trying to establish more friendly connections. But Elia has worked wonders in Ostennis.
This Costa Gerald, was this Elias' father? Or I'm not sure on how kind of Ostennis inheritance works.
Ostennis is a rather unique political situation. Sometimes it's a mixture of rising in status enough to be recognized, where then the populace can actually vote on whether or not they approve of you. Generally, the cabinet members and other politicians and senators and such in the royalty will generally appoint some candidates, and then they'll generally seek out the populace's opinion on who they want to represent them.
Interesting.
Couriers will run back and forth and make surveys of the entire cities, trying to get people to cast their votes. It's a rather cumbersome process, and it doesn't happen every so often. There's no real structured timeline to it, but Geralt was king for several decades before Elia rose to power.
And this
her stories.
This Coster Gerald, is he still in the picture in an advisory role, or is he no longer around?
He passed of old age, which spurned the need for someone else to take up the crown, and Elia won over the populace by a landslide. Let's say.
Like you said, magnetic, and I can understand.
Quite. Her story is rather interesting, but maybe we can talk more on that later someday.
Are there any monsters? Are there any monsters on the ceiling?
Make a perception check to survey your surroundings.
You want to ask Jiri about his motivation, though.
Okay, I was about to share. Yeah, I need to do more research. I didn't get enough time in the library. Didn't figure out what I needed to figure out. So anywhere with lots of big books, I need like multiple days there. It takes me a while to read things. So I don't know. I guess I'll
also screaming fans running up to you probably didn't help speak that.
Yeah, that was. I need to finish reading that book too. I have too much to read right now. I just need time. I gotta figure out how to make electricity. Number one goal.
Make electricity. Is that your primary goal right now in your research?
Yep.
Interesting. I know people, mages and people far smarter than I. Roulette, I'm sure you'll get there. And Jiri, you were using concussive blasts that sounded like thunder during that battle. So some of you guys may have arcane electricity at your disposal. I know there's been like theories that could be applied in more mechanical ways, but I think that's rather experimental as a society at this point.
Then maybe I'm gonna have to be the first one to figure it out.
Jiri, also known as what's the fucking name?
Thomas Edison?
Yes, thank you.
I thought you were going to say Lightning Bringer.
No.
I did just have this world building thought of, I love the idea that a fantasy world is so advanced in magical arcane ways, but we as humans in the real world are unique in that we discovered electricity specifically. Like even that eludes fantasy people's grasp because they haven't necessarily thought of it before. But that is something that functionally does not necessarily exist but it's also not critical for people's comfort and quality of living with arcane things throughout the world. But so to make electricity is a rather unique goal.
You keep saying the word magnetic. Roulette's going to start getting some ideas.
Magnetic is purely a charismatic word in this world. No, just kidding. Magnets exist for sure. Even without understanding of electricity, magnets.
You might get a motor or something.
Well, in different
Generator.
stones and ore have magnetic properties, so maybe people haven't thought to induce currents with the magnets.
It's so easy to poke holes, so ignore all of these comments.
I think it's also easy to like invent ways of well, in this world it doesn't work that way. So
we're in the multiverse.
Toby Rama, you're noticing just in a moment as all these conversations are taking place and Gallus is asking about different members, he's had his hand on your shoulder like the whole time. Just something you kind of clock with your passive perception. He's like, he's been holding his hand there for a long time. But
Roulette's rowing.
Yeah, it was a very like passing like, oh, really? Could you rope for just a second while I talk? And then it became 30, 40, 50 minutes. Just, holy shit.
No, giving you a back rub.
yeah. But Jerry, did you have a question for Roulette, it sounded like?
Oh, I was just going to quickly ask Roulette, is there anywhere I can go to get smarter?
Oh, that is a great question. Normally, I'd direct you to some place like Ostennis with a large library, but I think the more appropriate answer is you have to find someone who knows what you want to know. For me, I was kind of lucky because I was born into it, and my daddy was the one who knew everything that my curious young mind wanted to know. So I woke up, I rolled out of bed, I asked him a question, and he taught me. So I kind of got lucky that way. But I'd say find someone or a group of someones who know what you want to know, or can at least point you in the right direction on a journey of self-learning or something like that. Yeah.
Too bad my dad is dead. I guess what you're telling me is I need to find a new dad. Maybe there's one in Forest Hollow.
What?
Who could teach me things.
Well, Jiri, I guess notion of life, death, the great beyond kind of put aside. If I remember correctly from when we just woke up, did you not just have a conversation with your dad?
Yes, Ghost Daddy.
Again, I don't prescribe to one religious tract or another, but it might be worth it. It might be worth it from your perspective. Ask him the question.
That's a good idea, Roulette.
He returned your sword, it sounds like, or at least helped you manifest your sword in front of you. So he might be able to, if not help you, point you in the right direction. That's one of the beauties about kind of learning is, even if, like my dad, he didn't know the answer, he told me where to go, told me who to ask, who knew more than he did.
You're so right, Roulette. I knew I should have asked you. I will do whatever Ghost Daddy tells me to. Good idea.
Yep.
Let me talk to the other one. You immediately hear in your mind, Jiri. Let me talk to the other one.
Okay, Dad. And then Jiri goes back. Jax comes forward. Oh, are you awake now? Were you sleeping?
Yes, I must have expended too much energy through your form, and it had strange effects on me as well. I apologize. I could hear you, but couldn't respond. What were you hoping to know?
Well, those men that attacked us, they were wearing black and red armor. And I have these memories of men in black and red armor from when whatever happened to us. Do you remember the same thing? Or is that just me?
As my form has seeped into yours, I have found myself investigating your mind, it seems both of our memories have been sundered from that first day we met. That seems to be both of our original memories of Durastian soldiers on the ground in that prison with our blade in their backs.
So, what does that mean? What should we do? I mean, Jiri's open to suggestions now, thanks to Roulette. What do we do to fix this?
And moreover, how did you, Jax, find yourself in a Durastian prison, and Jiri seems to have no knowledge of it?
I would like to know the same thing. Again, Jiri just thinks he came out of a bottle one day.
More for contemplation, I suppose. Very well. Tend to those around you. And you feel it kind of retreat from your mind.
For reference, could we hear Jiri?
Yeah. What did we experience?
What did we hear?
That is also a Tim question on when Jax was speaking. Did they hear it out loud, or is there something else going on?
I mean, why not? Yeah, sure. Maybe,
Okay.
Maybe they heard it. So you heard Jiri just like talking to himself, but his voice is different. He doesn't sound.
And we don't know it's Jax yet, but didn't Jax reference Jiri, or was it?
He did refer to himself in the third person. Jiri, were you talking to your dad again?
Oh no, that was the Mad Wolf talking to my dad.
Okay, so what?
You gotta help us out here, Jiri. You gotta. Help us out
Okay,
here.
so what?
You gotta help us out here. That does not make sense to most people, and that's
Okay.
okay. I need some help. We all need
Jiri
some help.
is, what the fuck is up with that?
Incarnate.
Immune. He's immune to that. Like, it's like no amount of answers are gonna give you the answer.
Let me ask this question. Let me just ask this. To whom am I speaking at this very moment?
To me, Jiri. So
Okay.
again, I kind of mentioned this, but I've been cursed by a wolf bite, and now there's a guy in my head who calls himself the Mad Wolf who talks to me. You guys believe me now?
I think we all 100% believe you're talking to voices in your head, which is a big step. I think that's a big step.
That is true. I don't as charismatic as you are, Jiri, I don't think you could fake something like that. Interesting. Okay.
So you were listening while the Mad Wolf was talking to your father?
Yeah. It kind of, it's like being in a dream almost. You catch parts of it, not the whole everything in details, but I got the gist of what they were talking about.
This also explains how it seems that you, in some sense, lose control sometimes. And
That's
you
the
think
Mad Wolf taking
That's
over.
the Mad Wolf. It's not your father taking over.
Yes.
The Mad Wolf taking over. This is like straight from, I think you should leave, Skip. It's so amazing.
Jiri, do you want the Mad Wolf out of your head? Is it a curse to have him there?
Yes, because I can't fly because of him.
Oh, he's inhibiting some sort of powers of yours.
Yes, because I used to be able to fly, and then I got bit by that wolf, and then when we were in the corn maze, I couldn't fly anymore. I still can't fly.
Interesting. Can the Mad Wolf hear what you're saying right now?
Probably.
Hi, Mad Wolf.
We're big fans. Love what you do. We're all confused.
Interesting. You hear in the back of your mind, Jiri. Then you make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Jump in the river.
Oh, I blessed Jiri earlier.
Oh. Jinkies.
A strange sensation starts to cloud your mind for a moment, and there's this moment of tenderness in your brain as whatever being is speaking to you has just like tried to break down a wall, and if Jax wanted, could try and make communication, but that is entirely up to you if he is able to or not.
Okay. Yep. So like he exhales, Jiri exhales, and just like black fog kind of like starts billowing out of his mouth and like covers his face, and then like it shimmers, and then like the face of Jiri like completely changes, and instead you see like a darker kind of complexion, pointy ears, even more pointy than Jiri's. Like his face is completely different, looks kind of like a half drow staring back at you with bright red eyes, and he howls, "Ow!"
Do we have
There we are. Maybe finally they can speak with you.
To whom are we speaking now?
This is Jax. I am the mad wolf that Jiri speaks of.
Jiri, what the hell's going on here?
Gals.
This isn't Jiri anymore. I have a little bit of time, but Jiri will be back soon.
What do you want from Jiri?
I want to get out. I want out of his body.
How did you get in?
I don't know. Well, this is the other thing. There's some other entity inside of Jiri. Something else that's even more powerful.
Probably his dad.
He claims there's the Mad Wolf, which we now know to be you, but he claims there's also his father.
I don't think it's his father.
Oh, right. Are you really the reason he can't fly, or is he just confused?
Yeah, I think he's just confused. He's got some mental block. Well, if you could do anything to like help him get over the idea that he's cursed and
How do we
get him on my side, I'm trying.
Get you out.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't have a lot of memories. I'm confused as well, but I've kind of been listening while you guys have been off adventuring with Jiri. So I kind of know you guys.
Well, it's nice to meet you for the first time.
It seems you have come to our aid several times, so you have some semblance of trust with us.
I'm trying. Jiri has like some type of brain damage or something like that. I don't know what's up with him.
You remember?
Say that.
Do you remember who you were before?
No. I have the same memory as this other entity like inside of me. Like it all begins at, a day I was in some type of prison, a Duras prison. And the first thing I remember is just dead Duras soldiers and being taken over by this other being, killing all these soldiers.
Are you controlling his sword? Because we've seen it do things, and sometimes it disappears.
Yeah, every time Jiri doesn't know how to fight. Every time he's ever swung the sword has been me. Every punch he's ever thrown.
Interesting. Can I
try it out? Here, Telperion. When Jiri asks you to duel him, I'll show you. Maybe we can humble Jiri a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know what.
The willpower of Jiri starts to like buzz in your mind, and you're sensing like a very quickly diminishing time that this connection is being able to be maintained.
What else do you want us to know?
I'm not sure, but like I said, just if you could do anything to keep Jiri on track of, I'm not evil. If you could get him off of the whole Mad Wolf's curse thing, it would really help me out. Then I'll be able to communicate with him and actually help out a little bit. And then fog, the mist, I guess, in front of his face that like made this like half drow face, like goes back into Jiri's mouth. And then again, you see Jiri's face again. He like shakes his head and he's like, "Oh, that was weird. Hey guys."
What happened?
Can I ask a question? This like drow elf shows up out of Jiri's mouth and says, "I have good intentions."
Right.
Can I see?
Absolutely make an insight check.
Can I do that too?
Yes.
I was literally gonna ask. I didn't want to interrupt the RP.
Yep.
So I guess I want to know, like, what I was specifically wondering is, like, does this thing sound trustworthy that all it wants is to be free, essentially? Because I know
Gotcha.
Jiri, I care about Jiri. There's this weird demon thing inside.
So it sounds like Roulette is more interested in a general vibe of, was this thing like really good intention and has it been trying to help us? And you are more very specifically focused on what does it actually want? Is being free all that it's after?
Yeah, because like
so
as I'm
definitely roll.
And I'm thinking about its request.
Okay. Tim, you can give answers for these insight requests. I'm not going to, but
it doesn't even matter.
Would you roll?
5.
What was it? 5. Okay. So Roulette got a 16, so I don't know if that gives any.
Yeah, Roulette, I guess you were looking just for like almost like
is it like
quality of character?
Yeah, okay. Roulette doesn't
like
know
alignment almost. Yeah.
Yeah,
gotcha.
She knows shit about religion, so this is more of just like, is this thing evil? Like, what's the vibe?
Yeah, so you would probably get a sense that like Jiri is very good, like natured. At least he tries to be. This thing definitely seemed not necessarily sinister, but like not as good spirited or more internally motivated, more like selfish. Like you got
self-serving,
like a feeling of like very self-serving. Like,
gotcha.
I'm in a jam, so like you guys get me out, basically.
Gotcha. Cool. Jiri, you are. Let me ask this again. To whom are we speaking?
Jiri, of course. Who else would you be speaking to? I'm so thirsty. Oh my gosh. Where's my water?
Crack open that water of yours.
Why the fucking water?
Toby Rama, as you're all staring at Jiri, you kind of just out of the corner of your eye while Gallus's hand is still on your shoulder, you catch Gallus let go of his axe hilt, which he had been holding on to very tightly at his side.
And I look at him. What, Gallus? What?
Just didn't know if anything was attacking Jiri. Got nervous. I didn't know what that was.
Okay.
Did you guys talk to the Mad Wolf?
Prompted by that, could I, while they're about to have a conversation, do a look around? Because we are in prime territory to get pounced upon.
Absolutely, make a perception check. And Roulette, your perception check will still be addressed in a minute too. You rolled a 7 earlier, I think.
What did I? Oh yeah, when I was looking for monsters.
You were looking at the ceiling. Toby Rum, is there anything specifically you're looking around for? Because you rolled very high.
Threats. I am confident we aren't worried too much about the path we're traveling, so I'm more looking at, something flies by. Okay, it's minding its own business, or this or that, or are there any gleaming eyes that are catching the light of Telperian's torch?
Gotcha. You definitely do catch here and there gleaming eyes, but it's like a bat or maybe like a large furry critter on the ceiling that does not like come near your area of the ceiling where it could drop on you. It's like far off. Like you are seeing hints of living creatures. Both you and Roulette are seeing this. A bat flying by. Toby Rama, as you guys are talking, you do catch a little bit far ahead, just in the gleam of the torchlight, you see like a shimmer of light, but then it disappears very quickly. And when I say shimmer of light, I mean you see like a speck or two of a silver colored speck, and then you can't see it anymore. And then like another one ahead, like just like little glints of silvery shimmery lights that just like sparkle and then they dissipate.
Are they arranged in a way like, am I thinking, it might be a tripwire that we're about to run across, or is it like
you start to kind of pay closer attention to it, and you do not feel like it's a horizontal tripwire, but you do notice, just kind of from the vague sense you're getting, they're aligned in roughly vertical orientations. And as you start to kind of adjust your eyes to whatever this is, you realize you're kind of sailing through just like there's like just strands of thread that are just like one single strand of thread hanging down, just like blowing in the like very subtle wind. And then you pass by it and nothing is an issue. And then there's like another one. You just pass by these individual strands of like silvery web that are almost, they're so thin they're almost imperceptible.
Hey,
but they are.
Everyone, let's we might need to table this talk. Let's keep our eyes on the river. We don't know this area, and I'm not sure I'm seeing threats, but this is catching me off guard here.
And they're dangling like a full, like they're absolutely like dangling a full 60 feet and like blowing, just hanging just above water level. So like they are running a full 60 length from ceiling cavern
and I'm
to
trying
water
to
level.
point them out to whoever can actually manage to also see them.
Jiri is definitely having a hard time outside of the torchlight aura that you've created. Seeing farther past that and into the darkness is difficult, but the rest of you are able to, with your direction, kind of get glimpses of these very thin, almost imperceptible strands of just hanging silk or thread.
This doesn't quite strike me as spider webs, but I think, you know, I think we should see if we can't get to the end of this river as we were expected, and then maybe we can have this conversation a bit later.
Have any of these like come into contact with the boats yet, or no?
They have not. They're loosely on this side, or on like 20 feet to your right, or 40 feet up ahead that you haven't passed by yet. You have not gone near enough to to be able to like study it further.
It's not an actual flame. Roulette, do you want to try and shoot some fire at one?
I'd love to, but I'm just wondering, is this gonna aggravate something? I don't.
What if we've used the fan and we should fix the fan if it's broken? I saw it get hit. Roulette, can you mend it?
I can certainly try. I've got my weaver's tools that I'd used on Jiri's tabby, the Mad Wolf's tabby. I don't know what we're calling it at this moment.
I have mending too. Just want to throw that out there. Like I can help. Like.
Oh, let's go to the cleric then, and I'll do you take out the fan, Jiri?
Mm-hmm.
I'll levitate the fan over to Toby.
Since Roulette and I are on the same boat, I'll present it to both of us, and I'll start doing my version of mending.
And with the velocity of the flow of the river, you're still like occasionally passing these thin threads.
The fan was just like pierced by a blade, right? It wasn't like smashed or I don't remember.
The fabric, one of Vitria's metal chains of Vanta black reflectionless blades went directly through it, and as she ripped back, it definitely tore apart part of the fan.
So mainly like the fabric, the fan part of the fan, not the like structural bits of it.
Correct.
All right, let's give this a shot.
You're gonna cast mending?
A bunch of times, as many times as I need to figure out it's not working or it's working, or how long it takes.
It's fairly extensively ripped, but still within, you think, the purview of your ability to mend material. And as you cast mending, similar, visuals of your cleric magic kind of surround it, and like the material, the parchment kind of warps together, knits back together slowly, and is functionally whole.
Hey, thank you, Toby.
Yeah, you want to give it a swing?
I'll try. Wait, you just want me to like try to knock down these spider webs that'll be around?
Well, I was thinking you could blast a path forward for us, and it would displace any of those strands as we go.
Okay. If we see, let me know when there's one gonna hit us, and I'll knock it down.
I want to try and keep being like, oh, up on their left there. It's 3, 2, and now.
I summon the winds from Jarlin.
As you do your typical motion, you whip the wind, and you just whip a wind. Shit. You just whip a fan.
Mending cannot restore magic to a magic object.
Not sure what the nature of the damage done is here, but it seems to not be triggering the anticipated effect.
Jiri, I stow that for a bit. I'll take a look at it next time we get to a camp or something.
Gene fixed the staff that was 7.5.
Gene was a very powerful.
I'm not saying.
powerful
I'm just saying it could be fixed.
No,
maybe.
Gene did it.
I can take a look at it.
Noticeably, as you're recalling your memory, two very small things that I just want to interpret or throw out there because you mentioned it. The staff's damage was significantly more than this fan's damage. And Gene did not just fix it. He bought it back so that he could fix it over a duration. He did not just like re-enchant it all of a sudden. That takes a process. That magic had been severed for good and would have to redo.
I'm not worried. Ira's capable, or maybe Roulette. Maybe you'll surprise us.
I am going to keep an eye out. I'm just going to keep a firebolt ready. I'm going in case one of our boats starts getting close.
Specifically, if it looks like one is going to contact a boat.
Well, I can also move it. So if one,
I was going to say you could do.
I'm ready to do that. If I see one's about to touch us, I'll pull up, like lead it away.
Okay.
Did you know I can make wind without the fan too? I don't know if you remember that.
I wasn't sure.
Okay, so with the combination of some Kair, some gust, you guys are able to competently blow these strands away from your boat travel. And as you're proceeding, that's working for a few minutes. And then you're seeing more and more of them. As you're progressing down this cavity, this canal, the density of these threads is definitely ramping up. And so that is a functional strategy that can work for a time, but may run into issues if there's a particularly dense cluster, for example.
Honestly, spider venom is very valuable. It could be really handy if we could slay one or two.
What?
Just trying to look on the bright side of it.
I'm just gonna
as we're
keep an eye out.
before so we can like tell that there's like a denser cluster or
yes,
like
instead of one thread hanging every 40 or 50 feet as you're going, it's now like, oh shit, we're having to like steer around a little bit. It's like one every 20 feet, one every 15 feet sporadically throughout the area, as if there were like, like in our minds, like underwater minefield where there's just like suspended in the water, all these things that you might have to like navigate around. It's a vertical version of that. You're having to like now navigate around, like, oh, quick to the right, quick to the left, to like, if you're trying to dodge these threads that are just dangling loose in the air.
That, as well as pushing them with Tamir and Jiri.
Which is still working, and maybe there's a couple times where you think you're going to run into them, but you are functionally able to gust or Kair away. Roulette, have you sent a firebolt at any of these?
I have been hesitant to, but I think Roulette wants to figure out what's going to happen now as opposed to in the midst of this heavy patch. So she's going to go to the back of the boat, and she's going to look up behind us. I mean, I probably get, because how tall was the roof?
Roughly 60 feet ahead. It's like a 200 feet wide and only 60 feet high. So it's a very wide cavern tunnel mouth. Who knows how far down it goes, but it could make sense if this was a very loosely, roughly circular-ish form that is half full of water.
Can I see anything at like the base of these strings? Or
I'm going to say functionally you are all in darkness other than the light. So your dark vision is currently giving you most information, and that is at the very edge of your range of vision to pick out minor details. So make a perception check with disadvantage to see if there's anything noticeable up at the very top of the cavern.
And this is because it's like 65 feet away.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just out of like, you can see the cavern ceiling, but to like really hone in on details that far away, it's like just So you don't necessarily get any insightful bits of information. It looks kind of like they're just dangling loose from the ceiling.
I'm gonna head to the back of the boat, and I will say, I'm just gonna try something real quick, and I apologize in advance if this angers anything up there. And I'm gonna head to the back of the boat, and I'm going to go at like a 45-degree angle, and I'm just gonna because the firebolt is 120 feet, so I know I can definitely reach it. So something that's like 60 feet up and let's say 30 to 40 feet back from the boat as we're going.
You're aiming toward the top of a strand.
Yes.
Toward the top of a strand. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As you rub your flint against your fingerless glove portion and send that flicker of flame toward that way, make an attack roll.
Forgot that was an attack roll. D1.
Jury still flinches every time this happens.
Wow.
Is it the snap or is it the fire?
Oh, it's both. The whole thing is still traumatic.
Even just like anytime he hears a snap, he's triggered. Even with this thing like gently blowing in the wind, it's such a thin thing. It's like a hard shot, but you very deftly aim perfectly toward the top of this thing. And as soon as it makes contact, roll damage for me.
Oh God. I don't even roll my damage. So just 1d10.
How do you aim a snap? Like, because you can't do the gun motion, the gun hand. You have to like.
I imagine
what's the crosshair?
Yeah, it's fair.
It's wherever my. Oh, actually, that's a good point. I don't know. Oh, maybe
the thumb, because the thumb kind of stays.
It's more of like a frisbee toss, and it's wherever my thumb is pointing.
It's also magic, so
it needs rules.
Well, you're just creating the ignition, and then you could like send it wherever you want.
That's so much better.
Fire damage.
So as you make contact, what you see is this thing just like instantaneously, as if it were like there's cables in our real world that when ignited to fire, like instantly disintegrate the whole length of cable. That's what just took place here. As soon as you hit that thing, you just saw an instantaneous, the whole strand just
like unbelievably ignited.
Very quickly, very susceptible to flame.
As the fire got to the top of the ceiling, did I see anything else? And feel free to tell me no if my perception check was still low enough.
You're with the bolt of fire carrying a little globule of light up toward the cavern enters. You do notice that as it made contact, although the bottom half of it disintegrated very quickly, the top half just went up. It was pulled up and out of the ceiling.
Gross.
I'll take an arrow, cast light on the tip, and I'm gonna do essentially the opposite and go to the front of the boat and lead forward to try and get a view of.
Sure.
I'll motion this out. I'm not gonna just do it and rip it if anyone wants to jump in, but because I want to see what we're about to head into.
And as you knock an arrow, and you are getting to a scarily more dense portion of these, like they're one every 10 feet, and moving at your pace, like it's going to be a little more difficult to start navigating away from these unless you want to slow your pace or with the canoes or such. But absolutely feel free to I would say you get this information for free. You don't really need to loosen an attack roll just to send an arrow of light up toward the ceiling. And as that magenta light starts to gray up in the sky and then illuminates the portion of the cavern ceiling, you definitely see, and this aligns with Roulette, your expectation, there are striations and little thin slivers and fissures and gaps all over the ceiling. And these things are definitely hanging out of those.
But
I was lighting a torch while he struck his arrow, like a real torch.
Okay.
And
so
then
use your action to get your tinderbox out and light a torch, and you're holding it in the hand.
Yeah, and then I'm going to carry that. I'm going to receive back the magic torch, and I'm going to get ready to use the flame of the real torch on.
Got it.
Just start murking away the strands.
So I guess two things. One, highly susceptible to fire, whatever it is. Two, can someone check to see how
Oh,
sticky or whatever these things are like if our boat great job Jiri and Telperian and Toby like getting us around these. If our boat hits one of these, are we screwed?
I'm gonna do one of these real quick. I'm gonna kneel down and just be quiet to myself, see if there's any undead around us.
You enter a very brief momentary extension of your consciousness, reaching out to a familiar darkness of silver mists in your mind. And when you open up your eyes, you do not see or notice any blips on your radar indicating defilement of the natural cycle of life.
As I'm asking my second point, I'm just gonna stick the oar out a little bit farther to see if I could actually just tap one of these strings as it's going by.
Okay. As it's still blowing in the wind a little bit, like there's very minimal wind down here in this subterranean place, but there is a general breeze that is like passing by you guys. Make an attack roll with the oar functionally just to see if you can like hit it as it's like waving.
Is that just like plus my dex?
Yeah. Yeah. Improvised weapons, so no proficiency modifier, but just to stick it out there.
My God.
That was too good. You miss.
You try and stick it out, and it just like happens to like kind of accommodate the wind around it, and it just kind of blows out of your grasp as if like trying to grab a leaf out of the air. It just like kind of like warps around your. You could do it again if you wanted.
I'll throw a rock at one. See what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Make an attack roll
Right.
with a rock. Do you have rocks on your person? You probably do have some. rocks
Oh,
on
I
your
got a
person.
pocket. I collect them
Yeah.
in my pocket.
Yeah, you literally specifically do. Are you imbuing it with magic, or is this just a? Doesn't matter.
Oh my God. What a good use of a net.
Throwing a rock at a piece of thin strand of thread is such a weirdly dexterous thing to do, and you just nail it. You throw it directly at it, and as soon as you impact it, the thread like insta wraps around it and retracts up into the ceiling.
Ugh.
Slow.
Yikes.
Everyone slow. Slow down on the boats.
Let's go in single file.
So as you guys slow down, and we can move you guys into single file at Telperian's direction if you wish.
Yes.
And mine in front.
I should
I like
move
that.
Because we got Gusty.
Gusty and Torchy.
I will fix some of this here in a minute. Yours is in front. These characters, or this, I know I can send back.
SpongeBob, no. We have technology.
Back. There we go.
That's what I feel
so
like it must
as
be
you
like
guys are
to
now
operate Roll20.
Yes. You guys are now in narrowing, like kind of giving Telperian, you're essentially leading the way now to like give opportunities for, hey, this is the route we should take to avoid these occasional gusts, and even if you want firebolts or Kairs, just generally keeping strands away from your boat as much as you can to get through. Yes, Toby Rama.
I was gonna say, can I step onto the other boat as we were preparing to like go single file?
If you want to, you can absolutely make that jump, but it is moving current, so I'm going to have you make an athletics check or acrobatics check to try and hop the boat with no poor consequences.
Okay, so athletics or acrobatics, you said?
Yes.
Athletics.
At the same time, Jiri steps on like the front of it, so it starts to like tip backwards.
And I fall and I bust out the wings because I realize I fell.
Oh no.
You can absolutely do that. So generally it is your action, but it's not like we're in the confines of combat or anything. So
I'll get wet.
You biff it, you fall into the water, and like the bottom half of your legs fall in, but then you activate your wings, and Gallus just like his jaw drops when he sees this, but magenta wings of light come out, and you are suspended in air just above water level for 1 minute, right as a cluster of strands is directly in front of you. And I would like everyone in the first boat to make a dexterity saving throw.
Does that include me yet, or
It does
jumped the
include
gun?
you.
Okay.
One thing I want to specify that I was doing with Kair was I was igniting the ones nearest us with the torches.
Sure. So several of those, as they're being ignited, are just.
Come on, Telperion.
Jiri with the 13. Nat 20. How about Alfie?
Oh shit.
Oh
Actually-
no.
What is his?
How sticky are
on,
these
LB.
things? Can they lift a hunk of
It's
metal?
+1, so it's +3, 1d20.
Surely they can.
Did I drain this already?
Also, what a weird evolution from evolution.
Man.
Jiri, Toby Rama, and Telperion very dexterously either ignite or dodge or gust away or even drop into the basin, the kind of hollow part of your boat. You all dodge these things successfully. One brushes over the form of the, although made from metal, hollow, and therefore I'm considering this weighs 200 pounds or less, hits Alfie, wraps around it, and you see the form of Alfie, heavy, being yanked up into the air, and he has, in this moment, been yanked up at least 30 feet as something from above has grasped him. Everyone can make a decision to do, what would you like to do in this moment?
We can't. Can I like try to grab onto him as he gets sucked away? Like hold
Sure.
on.
Yeah, so sure. So as the strands are moving that way, they grab him. You can try. You may need to. You're like out of melee range with him right in this moment, Jiri. So like, and it's being dragged functionally away from you guys as you're moving forward. So you can absolutely try and grab on or do something else to try and just reach out with like spells or other resources available. It just might be difficult to literally physically with your hands grab him in this moment.
As soon as I see him get caught by it, because I'm facing forward at them, I am immediately snapping at that string.
I'm flying directly after it.
I'm going to start moving the torch towards the string.
Okay. Telperion, you start to move your torch. Toby Rami, you're going up to after Alfie. Jiri, give me an attack roll at disadvantage for like essentially to reach out and grapple Alfie.
Okay.
And then roll to attack the thread of string above Alfie at this point.
Ooh.
Jiri, you dive after Alfie, moving like at least like 5 feet back in your boat safely, no ill consequences there. But he does like maybe your fingertips scrape against his form, but he is yanked out up too quickly. Roulette, with very quick thinking, releases a firebolt, and it does incinerate the thread, and Alfie's form drops back onto the boat, fully damaging it enough to, well, actually roll damage for me.
Oh.
I shouldn't have said that yet.
I also would have tried to slow its fall. I know I can't carry that much, definitely not, but ease the descent for Alfie.
So Roulette, I spoke a little bit too soon because although you do make impact with it and you see the thread ignite, it's not enough to sever the thread, and he is still being pulled up.
Nice.
And as soon as and you can follow, and Telperion, you can continue to Kair up your torch. It's just like you're moving it at the same rate Alfie is being pulled up. And as soon as Alfie is functionally at the top of this cavern in like almost a moment's notice, so you haven't like sailed past this point very quickly yet, because it's all happening very quickly. As soon as Alfie is pulled up, two large pincer-like claws grab onto his form and try and pull him back as a large lobster-like creature reaches out and makes a single attack at Alfie.
It's a fucking barbarian.
Oh, yeah. 23 hits.
Critter would have
23 to hit. So 11 slashing damage to Alfie's form as its claws kind of pierce Alfie's form. As this thing kind of crawls out of this crevice to grab Alfie, everyone can make a nature check to see if they have ever seen or know anything about this creature. I'll give Gallus one as well.
Bro, Roulette, how do you have +6 on nature? What
It's it.
you're cracked.
Dallas exclaims, "What the fuck is that thing?" And Roulette, you are immediately horrified as your fascination with like mechanisms and your just like a deep understanding of how do things work extends through your upbringing in your homeschooling past just like structures and engineering. It also like you had fascination with biology at some point too. You think this is a cave fisher, a very nasty subterranean beast that expends filaments from its mouth that are very thin but wildly strong and capable of yanking things up to it for it to attack. And if this thing is attached to one of them, that means all of these things are attached to multiple cave fishers up in the ceiling of this place. And Alfie has just been dragged and is essentially affixed to the ceiling in this moment. And you can all roll initiative essentially to fight it off.
With a 15, Jiri remembered the word onkeg and thinks it's an onkeg.
I wish I could get a
and-
good initiative this for my life.
Oh shit! I didn't turn on the thing. You're gonna have to help me here in a second. But let me make
They're
that
still
visible
popping
on the
up
tokens
for
layer.
what we did in.
I know. That's why I gotta fix it here in a second. That guy's actually here.
Bro, how did we just do that terrible on initiative?
Yourself, he's gone forever.
Yeah, we're trying to help Alfie. Maybe we were all kind of distracted.
Okay.
Yeah, very almost a
I'm going to
surprise
very
round.
quickly go through the turn order here, and that was a surprise attack at Alfie functionally. Actually, Alfie can't be surprised, so
I was
that
gonna
was
ask
its
that.
so that was its first turn in initiative functionally. So let me get through here. Jiri, what was your initiative?
6, which is showing up.
Okay,
on
so
the
I'm
turn
deleting
order
the.
for
So I'm
us.
deleting the. I know. Hang on.
Okay.
Telperion, what was your initiative?
4.
Okay. Roulette, what was your initiative?
8.
Okay, I'm just making sure to clear off the ones that aren't you guys. Toby Rama, what was your initiative?
11.
Okay, so I got rid of all the duplicates I had on the board.
That's so
and now I
interesting
will roll for-
That's so interesting because we didn't see that. So I'm curious how that was.
That is
happening.
strange how that works. What the hell is that thing?
Yes.
From Gallus with his second natural one.
He has to go
And for
pick
the
up his
cave
axe again.
fisher,
Gallus is now afraid of lobsters, I guess. Is that what it is?
It goes last because Gallus
I
has a
guess
better
so.
initiative.
well, so it just went. So that's kind of
Oh,
triggering
okay.
things, but none of you are surprised functionally. Did you roll for Alfie, Roulette?
He goes with me.
Oh, that's right. I'm stupid. So Toby Rama, start us off. Alfie is affixed to the cavern ceiling 30 feet above your current form.
Guiding bolt at this thing, the pincers, this thing that are hitting it.
All right, roll to hit.
I thought about doing a second level,
You're
but I'm
surprised.
not.
Well, Alfie can't be surprised.
Alfie cannot be surprised, so he can move on this first turn.
12 to hit.
12 to hit. Just it like retracts for a moment, still grasping onto Alfie, but you just hit the cavern ceiling where it was, but it dodges it.
What does it look like when you cast it?
A stringless bow.
I am flying with my bow out in front,
Okay.
and I let loose the bowstring, and magic flew forth of a bright silver, as I let
Love
out
it.
Atragarshla Flauga,
Love it.
which means let light fly.
Is it still fantasy language?
What?
Well, is that Brissinger still?
It is still Aragon
Yeah.
fantasy language. And I miss. And then I keep flying up to get in range with Alfie specifically. I'm assuming.
Okay.
the
Do you want to
creature-
be under Alfie? Do you want to be on the
Yes.
side of Alfie where you're
Under.
functionally in melee with the creature?
specifically under?
Okay, specifically under. Got it. Roulette, your turn. No thread is visible anymore, and as I've stated, Alfie is affixed to the ceiling functionally.
Can I see the creature?
Yes, it just retrieved very briefly to dodge a streak of light at it, but it is very visible up on the cavern ceiling.
Oh fuck me, God. I'm
Oh, and here's a little
yeah,
fun. I always like to do this, and I forgot, but this is the cave fisher.
Bro, what the fuck?
Ooh.
God.
That's so cursed that its tongue,
It is.
its tongue string can go 60
It
feet.
is an adhesive filament.
And each filament is linked to one of them.
Allegedly.
All of these things you've been passing or blowing away are
Let's be optimistic and
very
think it's similar
dangerous
to a spider
creatures.
web, and that these are just left behind ones from the past.
Yeah, but if that's true, which is maybe true, it is odd that
Every
the one you ran
single-
into is
yeah.
affixed to one.
Every single one we've hit so far is retract so suddenly.
I'm just immediately snapping again to try and hit the thing.
Okay, roll to hit.
16.
16. It tries to retract, but you just hit it.
Bro, how many AC 16 creatures are in the area?
And then give me an 8. Give me an 8. Give me an 8.
Oh, baby.
Oh, I'll take a 9.
As you strike the form of this thing and it blasts into the carapace of its claw, its flammable blood ignites and you deal 18 fire damage.
Vulnerable to fire.
It is not dead. It shrieks in pain, but it is functionally wounded. However, in that moment, you hear and you hear movement, like they're all going toward the thing that made that sound, as these are very selfish creatures. And although they stick to their roulette, this is all your biological knowledge of these creatures.
Oh, I'm real good at that, yeah.
Although they kind of hunt separately, when one finds a target, they all try and grab the target.
As a bonus action, I'm gonna have Alfie just try and get out of there, and I'm picturing Alfie just like putting his 4 legs on the ceiling and trying to like stand up but inverse.
Okay. Yeah.
And-
So did you say you're using your bonus action to command him to do this?
Yes, yeah. And I'm gonna have him use the final, well, not the final, but charge number 6 of the day in the wand of magic missiles and have it poke out and just shoot straight
Perfect.
up.
The creature has no chance of dodging as this thing protrudes from a spot in its spherical form and
Did I just fully miss
point blank
that?
damage.
Did I just fully miss that the wand recharges daily?
It doesn't. That's what he said. This is the
wand
charge he's willing to use.
Yes.
It's 7 total.
Yeah.
The wand does recharge daily. It has not been a day for it to recharge. You slept.
I knew it had been a while. I was like, oh, for some reason I was thinking it only had the 7 ever.
11.
11. You hear more shrieks from this creature as these bolts of arcane force tear through its flesh. It shrieks and is still alive.
Jesus fuck.
AC 16.
That's horrifying.
How many are there gonna be?
That's my turn.
Okay, Jiri, your turn.
But I glance over.
You just missed Alfie, but now he's 60 feet above you.
All right, I stand up because I dove and fell over. I glance over at Talpirion. Is he still like guiding the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can I end my turn with just shouting something really quick?
Sure.
Get Alfie, and then we need to flip these boats.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna throw a rock at the thing that's holding Alfie.
All right, please do.
trying to do
Imbuing
some
it with
fucking
magic.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes,
shit?
I am.
All right. It is just 60 feet away. So I don't think you have disadvantage or anything like that. So you're free to roll to hit.
I can't hit that one.
Excellent.
Nice.
You absolutely hit for 8 magical piercing or bludgeoning damage.
I think it's technically piercing, but could be
Gotcha.
wrong about
It absolutely impacts this thing straight in the kind of carapaced helmet and cracks it. It shrieks again and is still not killed.
All right, I'm gonna start rocking the boat to get it ready to be flipped.
Okay, you are welcome to do so. Telperion, it is your turn.
Oh God, it's not dead. Okay, looking ahead, what am I seeing? Are like you said are the things moving?
You're still seeing, and your boats are functionally still moving, but this is all happening quick enough that you're not like losing Alfie way behind you. Although if this went several turns, that may happen. you are seeing still silk strands just waving in the very subtle wind up ahead of you, but you just happen to have sailed near a very dense cluster of them, and one of them hit Alfie.
Okay. What's the range of a spear? 60? And that's disadvantage?
It's 20, 60 at disadvantage.
You can't throw it more than 60.
Right. And I'd be throwing at disadvantage. How close to the water are the strands like going?
Like you standing up in the boat, they would probably hit your chest.
So sitting in the boat, are they like skirting over my head?
Sitting in the boat, they might hit your head. But
You probably have
canoes
to
are
almost
like a
almost lay down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh.
Retract my earlier statement then.
Yeah, so because we don't, as long as we just lay down, we'll skirt past them. With that in mind, I will and I moved the torch, but the torch is probably like half. Oh, I probably could move the torch all the way up now, right?
Yes, it is 30 feet hovering in the air. Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm going to move the torch 30 more feet to my max range of 60, and I'm just gonna hold the torch right like between its mouth and Alfie, just like trying to like.
Okay. So you're moving it into its space. I'm gonna give it a dex save to see if it can dodge this, since it's not a true attack necessarily.
It's funny how many times we have to just make up rules for Kair.
Yeah.
It probably uses your standard DC, so it is able to retract and like bats it away. You're still holding it functionally up in that space, but it has not impacted the creature.
Okay. Then that was my action. And then with my movement, I will get down in the boat. So I'm low.
So you're spending half your movement to prone yourself.
I was literally about to ask that. Does the inverse the same?
I think so. I think you have to use half your movement to go prone.
It does not matter, but I thought you could just drop.
You may be able to just drop. I'm not 100% sure
at all.
Yeah.
But in the future, I think it does. We should figure it out because you can make arrows disadvantage if you just drop yourself. So we should figure that out sometime.
Yeah, we should figure that out.
I'll keep my hand like back a little bit, like keeping the torch up there just to inconvenience the creature, but I am setting my sights more forward to just keep an eye on the strings to make sure we're low enough. And I'll say, everyone, no need to tip the boat, just lay down in the boat. That's all.
I thought they were much lower, so we can.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yep. No worries. Let me look at something really quickly. Okay, got it. With Gallus's turn, he looks back to Roulette. He reaches for his axe and pulls it out like he's going to throw it. But Roulette, you got anything I can throw?
I show him like my hip, and it has a hammer in it.
Shit. All right.
I don't think I have anything else.
And then he just hurls his axe into the air. As he makes an attack. And it scrapes on the cavern ceiling, does not hit the target, and then falls.
So it falls
into the water. It does fall. It does fall and into the water below pretty quickly. Gravity takes it down.
Gallus.
Shit.
Toby
Rama, hit it! And uses his bonus action commanding attack to give you, if you have your reaction available, you can make an attack roll at the creature. I actually don't know if this works on spells. I feel like it says melee attack or something, but let me look it up. Okay.
If it's attack and not spell, I could shoot a bow, but I definitely am not going to melee attack it, and I don't know that I can spell attack twice in a turn.
I'm going to pull up the rule real quick here.
You can give it to me and I'll punch it.
When choose a creature can immediately use its reaction to make one weapon attack. So it can't be spells. You have to make a weapon attack.
Absolutely.
So if you've got your bow knocked, you can absolutely make an attack.
Hell yeah. I was hoping for that because I didn't know that it made sense for me to cast another spell.
So in a moment, sure. So you're not in melee with a creature. You're just below Alfie. So in a moment, you just kind of skirt to the side and let an arrow loose.
Come on, baby.
It's incorruptible.
Nope.
It strikes true, but just bounces off the shell.
Double
very
12s.
hard shell.
Hate to see it.
And that is Gallus's turn. The cave fisher is going to make one more attack with its claws toward Alfie.
Oh, jeez.
15.
It's a hit.
Was he? Can he use his reaction to defend himself? We've answered this before. Okay.
He cannot.
So it's a hit for 6 slashing damage. And from another spot a little bit farther back, let me do this.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
It's Gallus actually that he's aiming at. Another roulette. You see directly in front of you a piece of this thin filament shoot down right towards Gallus. And as Gallus sees it coming from above, he is going to try and dodge it.
Nice.
They can actively
and in a moment's like awareness, he literally drops to the floor of the boat just out of its reach, and it retracts immediately. So he has functionally dodged another cave fisher's filament from above, but that is their turn. You hear the skittering of dozens of creatures up above the cavern entrance, as they're all going for whatever prey this one has managed to reel in. But Toby Rama, it is your turn.
Quick pause. Archie is just adorable at all times, in my opinion, and watching him get nestled into that blanket was incredible.
It's also funny because it's incredibly annoying for us right now because he's not. Have you guys noticed he's just like not satisfied by anything we're doing for him?
That's so funny.
Like he's not even fully settled right now. He's waiting for me to like help him get optimally comfy.
Okay. On my turn. Oh, I need to also mark that off. Imagine these creatures were undead, though.
Imagine I had the range to deal with any of this.
Imagining.
Javelins aren't at disadvantage at that. I wonder if javelins.
Roulette.
Okay,
I just wanted to make this known. Roulette. Their filament is vulnerable to fire, and they have 5 HP. Your firebolt literally did 2, so it was 4, so just shy.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh, -4 then. Oh, right, because it's vulnerable.
Get rid of him.
So much.
I'm gonna retreat like 15 feet down from Alfie.
Okay.
I'm gonna toll the dead on the cave fissure, which should
Okay.
be a D12 if it fails on a 14 wisdom save.
Correct. So what do you call out or do when you're channeling this magic?
What is it?
Because I think you flavored it for us maybe once, but I want to hear it again.
As I say out loud, Ethgridauth, there's a low resonant tone that seems to just kind of like pulse out from me and then kind of go and converge in on one creature.
Nice.
Perfect. And as it tries to resist,
Okay.
it fails.
Takes a D12.
And please roll a D12.
Imagine it's a 1.
Pretty close.
You definitely damage it. It seems to shriek in pain, like putting its head, like you guys probably can't see it, but it's just like retreating as if like an arachnid under the Crucio curse. It is just like, but you do damage it.
And that's as I'm kind of descending, I do that, and then as I find my spot.
Oh, you know what? That carries with it an additional radiant damage because, oh no, that's only attack rolls, I think. Or is it anytime you damage something? It's either attack or damage.
Where is Radiant Soul? And once per turn, you can have one attack or spell deal 4 additional radiant damage.
So because your form is being imbued with this magenta wing majesty, your spell casting is being enhanced. And as it shrieks and retreats from the sound it just heard, How do you kill this thing?
You don't see anything happen, but what happens to the creature is its ears kind of implode, essentially damaging its head beyond repair, and it just kind of goes limp.
And at this point, I'll say you guys have moved up far enough where Alfie's form, so that guy is dead. Alfie's form has dropped, this has kind of come back toward you guys,
right?
As you're proceeding forward. So Alfie's form now starts to plummet. Toby Rama, it is your turn, so you get your reaction back if you want to try and catch him airborne.
I've specifically been trying to position myself under him. I don't know catch. I literally want to just slow. Like,
okay,
he's gonna fall 15 feet and then hit me, and then I'm gonna try and just brace with whatever ability I can the next 45.
So functionally, knowing your own capabilities, you suspect it's going to be very difficult for you to catch with your strength mechanical sphere of this size.
Right.
But you think trajectory, that is an easier difficulty. So please make an athletics check as your reaction to try and guide Alfie toward essentially the second boat.
I can get a max of 19 on this.
Love it.
Fuck.
It's not so much that you fail to redirect him, it's that you go with him. He hits your form, and even with your wings out, you're just slammed down, and you, I'm going to say you take...
Can I take the damage?
Yes, you are going to take the damage.
I'm a cushiony, fleshy thing.
Alfie is falling on top of you and is not going to take bludgeoning damage from this, but you do take 5 bludgeoning damage as you both fall onto the bow of this ship, the canoe.
Just say deck.
You fall kind of very roughly and awkwardly into this canoe, but are functionally both in the canoe with Alfie at your side.
That was bonus action for Toll the Dead. No, wait. Whoa.
That was action.
Action.
And you've used your reaction as kind of part of your turn too.
And I used.
So you do have your bonus action available.
I have bonus action. I have 15 feet of movement.
But you are currently considered prone, also, even with your wings out.
That's almost ideal. I'll cast.
He uses 15 feet of movement to stay prone.
I will cast nothing, and that is my turn.
Okay. Roulette, it is your turn.
What are these things? What are these things called?
Cave fishers.
Cave fishers.
It says it in the chat too.
But not like Jenna Fisher. There is no sea. Pam Office. Come on.
Steve was not.
Or is that a straight thing? I don't know.
I did not get the reference right away.
Gay people can't like The Office.
Correct. I shout, Telperian's right, just get down. I'm going to reach into my bag and I'm going to grab one of my rations, just like whatever package it's in, and I'm going to throw it off the side of the boat into like the thickest jungle of things I can see.
Okay.
Hopefully it gets grabbed.
I do think this needs an attack roll because it was similar to Jiri throwing a stone. You're throwing like a piece of jerky or something, or like a piece of bacon. So give me just a general attack roll using your dex.
Jerky.
It's functionally like a dex check.
Jerky.
We found our word of the day. Jerky.
Fucking fuck.
Do you often remember what your word
Unfortunately, this one stick of beef or whatever you toss out just barely misses this thing waving in the wind.
I found a new word of the day.
Telperian, get the ration. Give it to the string.
Beef steak.
Bonus action. I will. Alfie, heal thyself. I don't know what the fuck I say to Alfie. Alfie, fix yourself up. Looking like a mess.
All right. I believe that's 2d8 plus 2.
It is exactly 2d8 plus 2, yeah. And that's my turn.
Oh, bro. Oh, I need to look this up.
What does it look like when Alfie starts to go into repair mode? Do people notice, or do we just hear grinding from within, or what happens?
Most of the time, legs in, heads in, balls closed, and then like a
A
loading.
wash cycle or something.
Yes, like it just like the runes just start lining up around like the outside of it. You see it goes back and forth. Occasionally you hear like a piece of metal hit against metal.
Yes, MK.
Beautiful.
I was gonna say I don't know whether this requires. I'm just gonna ask. Anytime specifically is usually spells. It says creature. Does that not apply to Alfie?
Alfie is a
Correct.
creature.
I think he is specifically a construct and cannot benefit from healing magic.
Not necessarily what I'm asking about, but
I would
if
say
it says the
sorry.
word creature, because the healing
I see what you're
spells
saying.
say undead or constructs cannot gain from this. But
Correct.
if it says creature,
I think it's different. I think construct is a subcategory of creature. Alfie is a creature and can be targeted by stuff, but he is also a construct and therefore cannot be healed via healing magic.
oh, he is a
just like a vampire is a creature, but it's undead and cannot do this stuff.
point
You
being,
can't heal a table.
Point
Yes.
being, next level, Alfie is a prime beacon of hope candidate because when it heals itself, then it'll get max 2d8 plus 2. Because it says you
Interesting.
choose any creatures, and they get the wisdom saving, yada yada. But the main thing is the healing max.
I'll check out the syntax.
Yeah,
of that.
absolutely. I just thought it when you said 2d8 plus 2. I'm like,
Yeah.
that could be really bad. Oh, that'd be great if I can make that as good as it can be.
That's my turn.
Perfect. Jiri, your turn. There's a dead cave fisher above you, filaments in front of you, a filament behind you where Gallus had just dodged onto the canoe floor. Still dangerous territory, but no specific targets that are very easily visible.
And I'm the only one standing up right now, but
Correct.
right. Okay. So
Yeah.
Jiri is gonna look around and see. he
Roulette
should
might
probably-
be.
No, I dropped.
Okay. Then
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, because Jiri was like gyrating the boat, before this, and so he's just gonna drop down and kind of get close to Telperion and ask Telperion, "Would you rather get eaten by a cave fisher or an onkeg?"
Cave fishes are disgusting. On cake every day. They also would take you up quickly, I guess. What about you?
I think you're right. Yeah, we agree for once.
You're right. These things suck.
These things are disgusting.
As you all lay prone, Jiri, is there anything else you want to do with your turn?
No, I'm just lying down.
Okay. As you go prone, and all of you are prone at this point, Telperion, you can have a turn, but functionally, over the course of the next several seconds, you all are sailing in a boat and are seeing from the ceiling filaments being shot at you and just stopping short of you guys as you proceed like another 20, 30 feet. Is there anything you want to do with your turn?
Yeah,
Ponder life's greater mysteries.
I specifically, because it happened, Gallus hasn't had a second turn, so like theoretically this wasn't that long ago. Where his axe fell, could I try to Kair it out of and give it to him?
For sure. I would say it's well within your guys' radius of interactability. It's well within Kair's reach. You can very easily, no check required, pull it from the water where you heard it splash back into your boat or toward him, whatever you choose.
I'll give it I'll drop it right on his chest as a torch falls into the water 20 feet or 15 feet behind us. And I'll stay on the ground.
And as you guys continue to lay prone for not a few minutes, that's a long time, but like a minute, maybe two, you get to a spot where you haven't seen filament shot at you, or you haven't seen strands drift above you for a little while now. And if you like kind of raised up a little bit and took a peek at your surroundings, you see no more strands of cavefish or filament hanging from the ceiling. As we'll end our session there, as you have gotten past that encounter.
Alfie, I think you cracked my sternum. Oh.
And yes, and the flash of your wings leave you as that minute.
He's a big
expires.
boy.
I probably would have actively put them away once I realized the point was to stay on the ground. So either or.
Christopher, two quick things. One, the repair specifically says it restores hit points. I don't know if that counts as a heal for Alfie's restore thing.
Sure.
But it says 3 per day. Is that like per dawn, or are we doing long rest for that?
I would say. I was thinking. Let's do. Let's keep it to dawn. I do think it's like maybe he can do this amount of like nanobot generation per day. So it's like, yeah, let's do dawn, similar to the wand of magic missiles, if that's all right.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking about this with watching Fresh Cut Grass on Critical Role. Like, Fresh